Homework for 7.5, zero product property. Question number 4. We are going to try and finish always level 1 and 2. Question number 4. You have x time x plus 7 equals 0. When you apply zero product property, to have the product of two number a times b equals 0, either a should be 0 or b should be 0. So in this case, either x should be 0 or x plus 7 equals 0. So it means that either x equals 0 or x should be equals negative 7. In this case, you're going to put the 12t equal to 0 or t minus 5 equal to 0. Divide with 12 on both sides, you get t equals 0 or t equals 5. In this case, I'm going to plug that equal to 0 in this, and maybe we missed that putting it equal to 0. So either s minus 9 equals 0 or s minus 1 equals 0. And you're going to solve for s. So either x equals 9 or x equals 1. So in order to make this product equal to 0, either s should be 9 or s should be 1 to make the product equal to 0. For number 7, you have two factors, q plus 3 and q minus 2. To have the product of two of them equal to 0, either q plus 3 equals 0 or q minus 2 equals 0. Subtract 3 on both sides. You got q equals negative 3, or add 2 on both sides, you got q equals 2. So either q is negative 3 or q is 8. In this case, you have a square on the top. It means you have two factors of the same type. Either you can put them equal to 0 one by one, or you just know that when you put the square equal to 0 and you take a square root on both sides, h minus 8 equal to 0, that give you h equals 8. So only one value, that is h equals 8. Similarly, for number 9, you're going to have m plus 4 square equals 0. Square cancel with 0, you got m plus 4 equals 0. When you solve this, subtract 4 on both sides, you get m equals negative 4. So when m is negative 4, then this factor should be equal to 0. Now we're going to discuss level 2. For question number 10, you have two factors, 5 minus k equals 0, 5 plus k equals 0. When we apply zero product property, so you get 5 minus k equals 0 or 5 plus k equals 0. Now you're going to solve for k. So in this case, I'm going to subtract k on both sides. So you got negative k equals negative 5. And when you divide with negative 1 on both sides, you got k equals 5. Or when you subtract 5 on both sides, you got k equals negative 5. So either k should be 5 or k should be negative 5 in order to get the product of these two equals 0. So for number 16, we are going to describe and correct the error in solving the equation. So for this one, what's wrong with the solution? So we have two factors, 6x and x plus 5. So we should put them equal to 0 one by one. And then we're going to solve for x. So we should get x equals 0. Or we should get x equals negative 5. So either x should be 0 or x equals negative 5 in order to get this product equal to 0. Here they put the x plus 5 equals 0, but they did not put the 6x equals 0. So that's why we're missing x equals 0 solution from this solution. Now I'm going to put these factor w minus 6 times w minus 6 equals 0. And if there are three factors, you put them equal to 0 one by one. And then you find the solution for a variable. So you got either w equals 0 or w minus 6 equals 0 or w minus 6 equals 0. So three values that you got is w equals 0, w equals 6 and w equals 6. Basically you got only two solutions, w equals 0 and 6, but 6 is a repeating root. Again, if you have three factors, you're just going to put them equal to 0 one by one and then find the value of a variable. So in order to make the product equal to 0, either r should be 4. So when you plug it here, 4 minus 4 is 0, which makes the whole equation 0. Or r should be negative 4. When you put here negative 4 plus 0 is 0, and that makes the whole factor 0. Or it should be negative 8, because when you put negative 8 here, it becomes negative 8 plus 0, which is 0, and that makes the whole factor 0. Now I'm going to try level 3, and just for those who wants to try level 3, and you can watch this. Otherwise, you can stop at level 1 and 2. For number 12, 3p plus 6 square equals 0. So what you can do for this one is cancel the square with 0, or you take the square root on both sides. To get rid of the square root, ultimately you're left with one factor that is equal to 0. You subtract 6 on both sides and you got 3p equals negative 6. Divide with 3, you got p equals negative 2. When you put that equal here in the main equation, you get this factor equal to 0. Same thing for 13. You cancel the square by taking the square root on both sides. So for example, if you want to get rid of the square, you can take a square root on both sides. The square and square root cancel, and square root of 0 is 0. Or just remember, even if you put that factor twice like that, you're going to only get one z value. When you add 12 on both sides and divide with 4, you got z is 3. Next, you put these two factors equal to 0 one by one. To solve for y, you're going to subtract 4 on both sides, and then you got 1 over 2, y equals negative 8. Multiply 2 on both sides. This 2 cancel. So when you multiply 2 on both sides, this 2 cancel and you got y equals negative 8. And this one, when you add 8 on both sides, you got y equals 8. Similarly, for number 15, you put the two factors equal 0 one by one, and then you're going to solve for d. Here you're going to add 2. 1 over 3d equals 2. Now you're going to multiply 3 on both sides, and you got d equals 6. In this case, you're going to subtract 2. 1 over 3d equals negative 2. You're going to multiply 3, and then you're going to get d equals negative 6. Question number 21, you put these factor 1 by 1 equal to 0 and use the opposite operation to solve for z. These three factor equal to 0 1 by 1. Subtract 3 on both sides, divide 2, you got the p value. Again, you're doing the same thing and you got p equals 3 over 2. And for this one, p equals negative 7.